The PBA has 126 congregations in a 4-county area, as well as congregations in Wilmington, Delaware, Pottstown, and State College, Pennsylvania. I want to say in general that our congregations are doing well. We've had several surveys to find out, congregational health and how people were coming along. And in the main, most of our congregations have been able to weather the storm, continue in their fellowship, and they found new, exciting, and creative ways to hold worship and to continue. There are some stresses and strains, but most of our congregations are healthy and doing okay. I'll just get some highlights. First, I want to thank Janet Reedy, who is the office manager of the Philadelphia Baptist Association, for all of her help and her steadfast support. Reverend Julia Bruton Shepherd for her work as our consultant for area ministry, and Reverend Shelby Hagway as our consultant for the Christ and Culture Humility Initiative. I want to go through this quickly. You'll see that we have new pastors, 9. David Brannicky, Grace Baptist Church of Bluebell, Reverend Shelby Hagway, First Baptist Church of Levittown, Bernal Sims Jr., Mill Creek, Lee Jackson, Society for Helping Church, James Williams, First Baptist Philadelphia, Krista Gorey Jennings, Second Baptist Germantown, Kevin Jones, Second Baptist Frankfurt, and Dr. Marsha Bailey, First Baptist of Pottstown. We welcome to their first annual meeting, I think, First Baptist Church of Pottstown. They joined in 2020, and we didn't have an annual meeting that year. So we're delighted that they are here and represented today. We had some pastors to retire, one of whom I think I saw on the screen, Reverend Jacob Chapman from Penn Memorial, Richard Dent from First African Sharon Hill, Brenda Egolf Fox retired from Point Pleasant Community Baptist Church, and Tony Pilford from Willow Grove Baptist. In memoriam, a good friend of ours, someone we've known for a long time and loved dearly, Reverend Lowell McCowan passed away February 17th of 2021. He served McKinley Memorial Baptist Church for a number of years, 36 years. So next you see that their area ministry, that's the pastoral search committees. Imagine that. The work of search committees still continues in the midst of the pandemic. So we've learned how to do things by Zoom and some creative ways to talk with candidates and to introduce candidates to churches and to even take the vote virtually. So it's been an exciting time. There are 13 churches that we've supported the search committees, and you'll see them listed there. And I think I want you to be mindful of that. This is one of the things that you provide, the ability of a staff person to go in and help a congregation in this most critical time in its life. And we go in, we meet with them as often as they would like to meet, provide the resources that we get from through American Baptist churches. We also bring names from American Baptist theologians from the area and around the nation so that they can pastors, so they can look at them as possible candidates. So it's a very important work that we do, and God is blessed. There have been some creative challenges, but I just admire the tenacity of the congregations as they have worked through the issues and made some fine selections for leadership into the future. The main thing that we accomplished or were focused on from April 2020 to May of this year is to make sure that we supported our congregations as we walk through this pandemic. This listing on the next page, page 2, um, is long, and I'm not going to go through all the details on it, but Janet helped me, and we made sure that we used our web page to provide all kinds of resources, so congregations leaders can just get on the web page, click on things. The emergency information was placed on there for pastoral care and counseling, reports from major medical organizations, American Heart and other people, how to set up Zooms. If the people were having issues, how do we set up a Zoom and get worship going? That was put on the website. They can look on there and find resources. Um, and then there was the PBA Board of Directors itself, did the work of saying, what do we recommend to the congregations so that they stay safe? Because, some people want to jump the gun and some folks want to ignore science and all of that. So the Board of Directors sent out a statement encouraging our congregations how to respond appropriately. You can see next we had a webinar for churches through Church Mutual. This was presented by ABC USA, Office of the General Secretary on opening buildings. And it was very well attended. Over 70 people were on this call and were on this Zoom. And we had professional support from an insurance company to help our churches stay safe, to think smart and protect themselves and to protect their members. We constantly did surveys with the support of ABC USA to hear what our churches were facing so that we could shape our ministries to be supportive of them. The Ministers' Council of PBA was engaged in hosting opportunities for pastors to talk to each other. We asked Andridge Collins to come in and did a session on trusting God for emotional healing. What was that like? And it was a powerful setting. We also held town halls and meetings with both Senator Vincent Hughes and the Commissioner Farley at various stages along the journey. What's going on? What's the state of COVID? What's going on in the community? What's the state, the virus numbers, all that stuff. What does this mean? How do you interpret that? What should you do? And we just were delighted that Commissioner Farley was very forthcoming, and our moderator, Reverend Maria L.H. Lewis, did a wonderful job in interviewing the commissioner at our last Zoom gathering, and he was really candid and forthcoming and helping us to look at and address the issues of equity and making sure that everybody was getting coverage and that the vaccines were getting to underserved communities. All that dialogue continues, and we continue to work in that area. And then Julia Bruton Shepherd did a lot of work for us in helping our pastors. We had phone calls for them on a regular basis. She sent electronic greeting cards. We got notices back from pastors that said, I'm pouring myself out trying to help everybody else. And it sure is nice if somebody's trying to connect and find out what I'm doing. And the pastors were really, really appreciative. We looked at clergy support with Dr. Maggie Lewis from the Center for the Ministry and held a couple of sessions with her. And we also looked at issues of fundraising in the middle of the pandemic with Margaret Murkison. We developed Bible study materials. I think Julia and I both wrote Bible study materials that were used and used by ABC USA and shared across the United States of America on different facets about either social justice or responding in the time of struggle. So those are some of the ways that we really worked to make sure that our ministries were relevant to the needs of our churches. You also see that we had ordination councils. We had 4. We can go to the next page. We had 4 persons to be ordained: Angeline Washington Clark, Wakaki Thompson, James Williams, and Brian Wallace. Went through the whole process of ordination council and all that. We did all this stuff by Zoom. And it was very interesting to do the Ordination Council with churches by Zoom. That usually gave us a bigger crowd who were able to be there because they were able to join from home. And then we started up the Christ and Cultural Humility program with 7 congregations participating. I'm also teaching and had the opportunity, the gift of being able to share with the African American executives in ABC USA issues on cultural humility with the William T. McKee consultation. And I will be teaching the concept of cultural humility and sharing our program with the National Executive Council. That's all the heads of regions and boards in ABC USA. So next month, this month, the month of May, toward the end, we'll have a chance to share our learnings and see if there are people from around the denomination who want to do something similar or use this concept of cultural humility in their own way in designing programs that help us to be more responsive, because we are very clear that the church needs to be responsive and responsible. We need to look at the issues of systemic racism, et cetera, and the ways that we're shutting people out of our communities, and do a much better job of reflecting the humility that Christ teaches us and the equity that Christ demands. As I close, your giving was up by 1.7% over last year. Your total American Baptist mission support, we want to thank you for that. In the midst of the pandemic, we readjusted our budget, and we went on we cut it severely, and because we had absolutely no idea what you all were going to be able to do and what you all were going to be able to face or provide, as congregations, and you came through. So this is our opportunity to say thank you, and thanks for your commitment and caring about the PBA, about the mission across the nation, and the mission of ABC USA all around the world. So I'm going to stop there and just say, I believe you to be healthy, extraordinarily kind, wonderful, caring people, and it is a delight to serve you. And Madam Moderator, I yield back to you.